me ask you a question. Have you ever sent a vendor to a property and then the phone rings? It's them, they're on site, but they're confused. Hey, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to talk to. Where's the unit? And you think to yourself, how did this go sideways? It went sideways because dispatching is deceptively hard. Think about it. Think about what we're actually being asked to do. We're solving problems we've never seen in buildings we're not standing in, based on a description from someone else who isn't us. Usually a tenant who doesn't know the difference between a drain and a downspout. And when dispatching goes wrong, everyone loses. The vendor wastes time, the tenant gets frustrated, the landlord gets a surprise bill, and we look disorganized. When dispatching goes right, no one notices, which by the way is the whole bloody point. So today we're going to break down the dispatch process into 6 steps. These aren't complicated, but they're easy to shortcut. And every time you shortcut one, you're borrowing time from yourself later. Let's get into it. Step 1 is understand the problem. There's a quote I love, which is if you don't first understand the problem that is, you may end up solving the problem that isn't. Context is everything. A ceiling leak in a single-story industrial building and a ceiling leak on the first floor of a high-rise office building, same problem, completely different context, and so it's a different solution. One is probably the roof, the other might be a bathroom on the floor above, or condensation, or a pipe. The number one skill set here to acquire is understanding building systems. You cannot dispatch well without a base level of knowledge of how buildings actually work. So I mean the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, the roofing, the fire safety. You don't need to be a tradesperson, but you need to know enough to triage. Ask yourself, if you're walking through a commercial property right now, can you point at any given system and tell me what it is and roughly how it works? If the answer is no, that's your homework for the next couple of years. And I mean years because building and understanding of systems in a building takes a long time. The number 2 skill set here is asking questions. The best dispatchers are the ones who have more questions. They seek to understand. Done right, and curiosity builds competence, and competency builds curiosity. It's like an endless loop. This is how some people become masters of their craft after 10 years in this business, and others sit stagnant after 20. It's questions, questions, questions. So truly, when someone calls in a problem, understand the problem deeply. Do so by understanding the building over time and asking questions and questions and questions. Step 2, understand who's paying. So before you do anything, you need to know, as per the lease, is this a tenant problem or a landlord problem? Knowing this fact right away will shape all communication moving forward. Did someone cause this through negligence? Well, what does the lease say? Is there a history with this tenant that is relevant? This matters more than most people realize, because saying what people don't want to hear up front is infinitely better than blindsiding them with a bill after the work is done. A surprise bill back, at best, creates a few frustrated emails, but at worst is a bill back that never gets paid. Not to mention a relationship that's now damaged. Clarity up front is a kindness, it's also good business. Here are some phrases to have in your back pocket. Hey, depending on what the vendor finds, this may fall under your responsibility. Or, this is actually a tenant's responsibility. We can suggest a few trades if that would be helpful. Step number 3 is give concise instructions. Obviously the word concise is bold and underlined. This one sounds obvious, but it's not. Great dispatch instructions answer 5 questions: what, when, where, who, and how. Great instructions include written directions, access details, who to contact on site, what exactly they're looking at, and who gets billed. You know your instructions failed when the vendor calls confused from the parking lot, or they do the wrong thing, or they talk to the wrong person, or they bill the wrong party, All of that is a direct reflection of the quality of your instructions. It's not the vendor's fault, it's yours. Pictures help, maps help, specificity always helps. Don't assume they'll figure it out. They won't, or they will, and it'll cost you more than it should. High agency property management people do this really well. And low agency property management folks, they're often doing this poorly, and they seem to always have these trades that are making mistakes. Step 4, pick the right vendor. This is where experience pays dividends. The right vendor isn't always just the fastest or the cheapest. It's the right company for the right trade for the right problem. There's a drip from a ceiling tile on the top floor of an office building. It's currently raining outside. You should send a roofer, not a plumber. That's obvious, but these mistakes happen all the time. Send the right trade. Problems here stem from a lack of attention on step 1, understanding the problem. But there's more. Does this warrant a handyman or a high-grade general contractor? Picking the right vendor includes matching the competency of that trade with the sophistication of the building and asset and client. Roughly speaking, we should not send AAA trades to C buildings or vice versa. This is a problem institutional management companies, the big guys, get wrong all the time. It's why they struggle to manage smaller properties. It's always sending in a sledgehammer to nail in a tiny tack, and clients get pissed off. In third-party property management, you've got to also from time to time match the vendor with the client. Some clients are more hands-on than others, and some have hot buttons. And here's something worth noting. The right vendor compensates for our imperfect instructions and understanding. The best vendors on your roster are the ones who can bridge the gaps. And so this is a really special step because it helps with all the others. These are the relationships that are worth protecting. Step 5 is manage perceptions. When people don't know what's happening, their minds go to the worst place. We as humans always assume the worst, you included. A tenant whose ceiling is leaking and they haven't heard anything for 4 hours, if you were to ask them what's going on, they're not thinking, oh, they're probably doing their best and working on it. They're thinking, my property manager sucks, and they're doing nothing. No one cares. Managing perceptions means making sure that at any given point during a problem, every relevant party, whether it just be the tenant or a tenant and landlord, whoever, they could answer 2 questions if you called them right now. What's the problem, and what's being done about it right now? That's it. You don't need to over-communicate. You need to communicate enough that silence doesn't become a story they tell themselves, and follow up when it's done. If a tenant doesn't know the problem is resolved, to them it isn't resolved. Close the loop every time. And as a quick aside, when's the last time you sent a quick follow-up email to a tenant a month later asking if X problem is still persisting? It's a small 30-second gesture that quietly puts you on their side, not part of the problem. I found this super helpful when dealing with persistent problems. The most common being leaks, where it's iterative and it always looks like we're not doing a great job because it consistently goes on and on forever. Sending an email after a big rain saying, hey, did you notice any leaks today? It's super quick, but it does exactly that. It puts you on their side. Step 6 is take ownership. This is a big one because here's the tempting part. When a vendor does bad work, it's easy to throw your hands up and say, that's on them. It isn't. Not in the eyes of the landlord anyways, and not in the eyes of the tenant, and not in the eyes of me for that matter, and not in the eyes of anyone watching how you operate. You dispatch the vendor, you're accountable for the result. Ownership looks like following up with a vendor to confirm the work is done, reviewing the invoice for discrepancies, going to site and inspecting the quality of their work with your own eyes. There's an old saying, which is a poor craftsman blames his tools. The property management version, it's a poor property manager blames his trades. The best managers in the industry hold themselves accountable, not just for what they do personally, but for the broader results they are responsible for. That's what integrity looks like in practice. And by the way, experienced trades know they get blamed a lot by PMs. They've learned to look out for it, and they know who does it and who doesn't. So let's recap. There's 6 steps here. Understand the problem, know who's paying, write clear instructions, pick the right vendor, manage perceptions, and take ownership. None of these are complicated, but done consistently, every dispatch, every time, it's the difference between a management company that looks behind, disorganized and reactive, and one that looks truly at the top of their game. All right, go dispatch something.